Hello everyone. In this video, I'll be going through my favorite cars that are free, ones that you can get off the street. Now I thought I'd start with this little tip. If there is any vehicle that you do like on this list and you want to keep it, I would suggest waiting until it's a Simeon's car. Because once it's a Simeon's car, you can paint the car any color you want for free. Yeah, you can even change the chameleon colors for primary and secondary on the car, and it'd be an 80k plus paint job and get it for free because it's a Simeon's car, and then drive that car once you've got the right color to your chosen garage where you want to store it. Let me tell you about the Bison. The Bison is such a fun vehicle. The Bison has different characteristics. If it's a street Bison that's not stored by you, or if it's your own personal Bison, they're both a bit different with this little fun glitch you can do with it. But the Bison is a car that you can tow with. Not that there's anything to tow in the game, but civilian trailers that you have to find, or the anti-aircraft trailer. But this vehicle has 6 available seats. It's crazy that you can fit 6 people in this thing. 1 as a passenger, 2 in the rear, and then 2 on the truck bed. And then you can do the little freeze action thing where you're hovering. And this is funny. All you got to do is you have to have a friend that has the Bison. Tell him to sit in the driver's seat or put the vehicle to passengers. Sit in the back, open your interaction menu, hover over an action and press select. Then whatever button is eject from the vehicle. So select and eject on the action. And then you can do this yourself. Well, and then you should just get out and then just hover. And to move around, you need to aim at something. So just aim and then move around and then you let go. And to stop it, you just press the action. But if you do this on a civilian car, instead of hovering, you stand and you can just do this funny running in one spot thing. You can drive vehicles with both methods. It's honestly one of the funniest things you can do with your friends. The Dubster. I'm still surprised to this day how there's not a refreshed Dubster, how there's not a newer Dubster. With knowing how popular G-Wagon is, you'd expect GTA to have that, and they can charge 2 million, people will still buy it. And yes, GTA 6 is coming out with a refreshed one, but surely we're not going to wait till GTA 6 to have a newer version of the G-Wagon. We had the 6x6 in early GTA 5, and still this is the only option we have. And for a car that you can get straight off the street, look at the amount of modifications it has. It has so many modifications. It has safari modifications, and I think it's one of those cars that you can spend a lot of money on, referring to the modifications, because you can't get another car like it. The Merryweather Mesa. It's always been that kind of rare vehicle that is easily attainable, but you had to go through a little method to get it. A very easy method by just calling up Merryweather and calling him on somebody and then stealing the Merryweather vehicle. As you can see, I'm driving one with no bars, which with various merge glitches was obtainable by merging the Merryweather Mesa and the normal Mesa. But now we have the Terminus, which is crazy expensive. And the Terminus is way more capable, but for a free vehicle, this is one of my favorite. The Merryweather Mesa, and preferably without the bull bars. The Schwarzer, such a rare car. And it's strange because you're probably looking at this like, hella, it's not a rare car. I have the Schwarzer V12. But that's why it's such a rare car, because everyone has the Schwarzer V12, which is the more sporty version. But strangely, on the Schwarzer, you get certain modifications you can't get on the Schwarzer V12. Of course, they are more looks car mods. And the fact that you can get this for free, I still prefer the Schwarzer V12 a lot more because of the sound, and it's only 116,000 for it. The normal Schwarzer is actually one of my favorite because of the rarity. You don't see this car, and to be fair, if you did see this car, you'd probably still think it's a Schwarzer V12. The Fugitive. This car is just a sight that is so pedestrianized, it's everywhere on the streets. Civilians drive this all the time. But the enjoyability of driving this car with that sound, yes, it is shared amongst a lot of cars, but that choppy V8 sound paired with this car's wide arches, some people think it looks like the B7 RS4. With this one, it's one of a few cars that has no modifications, but when you lower it, it looks so nice. These flared arches give off such a chunky look to the car. Yeah, it's not fast, it's not going to shock you, but it's the sight and the sound of this thing that really appeal with this car. The F620. I've always thought the same thing with this car. You shouldn't have been able to just steal it off the street and put it straight into LS Custom. And then when you forget about the car and then you see it 2 years later again, you think the same thing again. Hang on, am I able to put this in LSC? But surprisingly, it was just a car that you could store in your garage and keep. It doesn't have any modifications, but there's vehicles out there like the Voltic and the Serrano, the Banshee. They all look like vehicles that are on the same level. But no, you could always keep this F620. None of them though. The car looks absolutely amazing stanced. It's just a shame it didn't have any modifications. The Stader is another car that I always go on about it. I love the look of this car. It's legendary. I mean, it's a Crown Vic. It's legendary in real life as well. But I think I owe a few people an apology with this car. I did say it was hardly used, but people are quick to point out that this is actually used quite a lot in RP. And maybe I don't join enough RP to figure that out. But with the stance of this vehicle, yes, you have to lower it to stance it. But I love putting low grips on this thing. This thing swings out so smoothly. It drives so nice. It soaks up bumps. It's got that element of luxury. Try driving this thing. Don't pull your handbrake or anything. And just see this thing swing out smoothly. Here it is, Jackal again. You knew it was going to be on my favorites list. I go on about how I like this car all the time. I've even gone on about telling you how you're probably tired of me going on about this car. And yep, I've got it in this video. Of course, it's one of my favorite pedestrian cars. I keep saying the same things. I'm sorry if you've heard this before. You can skip a few seconds. But the ability, the cornering ability on this car, repeated words, it's like a supercar. The cornering ability is just catches you off guard. Makes no sense. The rear cannot keep up with this car. It's a front wheel drive car and it sticks through corners. It's like a go-kart for the streets. It's not that fast, but it definitely makes up for it during those turns. I've done it with my friends a lot. I've messed around and got them to chase me with this car, and they think it's slow until I start turning corners. The Intruder, another one you knew I was going to put on the list. Kind of obvious when you start putting my list together, because you start realizing the cars that hella glaze in those videos are going to be in this video. You're right. The Intruder with those chaser style modifications was the only car that you could make a chaser type build until the Laurel came out. And I mean chaser style with the body kit. But look at this car. I think it still looks great and there's not a lot of room to mess it up. And if you ever see someone in a public session, a free mode session with this car, you just think, that guy's mature. Out of every car he could have been driving, he's driving that. Or he's probably poor. one or the other. I wanted to put the original Sentinel on this list, but then the Sentinel XS is the better car when you put all the stats together. I prefer the Sentinel because it's a convertible hardtop. You can't even realize when the roof is up. And I feel like some pedestrian cars just have a different color roof, so you know that it's a convertible. But the XS and the normal Sentinel are very similar until you realize they added a lot more extra modifications for the Sentinel XS on top of the ones that already differentiated the two cars. And it has HSW, a lot more liveries, a crazy amount of certain modifications. You got 14 front bumpers, you got 24 hoods, 11 liveries, 29 spoilers, and you don't need to HSW this car to get those options. The Rebel, you can get the Rusty Rebel, you can get the Clean Rebel, but there's something just different about this vehicle. You don't see it enough in GT Online, and people don't even know it has not many modifications, but unique modifications that can make it into a trophy truck, but not the performance though. And this was one of the first vehicles that could do that. And people didn't know much about it back then. And I thought I'd show you guys how durable this thing is by driving it around and crashing it. Yeah, then you realize this is a fragile car. Listen, it looks menacing, it looks tough, but it's not, it's fragile, but cool. I think this is my list, but it's one car that undoubtedly everyone has to agree with. The Schwarzer is one of the best free cars out there. I honestly think the best civilian car. I thought this before they updated the car. And then they go ahead and update the car. They didn't bring another Schwarzer out that miraculously had a lot more modifications like they did with the Surfer. They updated the old Schwarzer. You can literally get this off the street, drive it to LS Customs, and you've got all these modifications to play with. I mean, you can just go and get it off the street and modify it. And then once you're done with the modifications and you've had a good look at this car, if you don't like it, just quit the application. And you haven't even bought the car. The car never existed. You spent zero money. I think they did a crazy thing updating the Schwarzer, even though that was like 3-4 years ago now. I rate it number 1 alongside the Sentinel of my favorite free car you can get off the street. You cannot forget the OG Sultan. Something that doesn't have many modifications. But if you do want to equip the Sunstrip in this LS Customs, it shows you the back and then you can't really see your Sunstrip. And this is the Sultan we all knew. Now everyone transforms theirs into the Sultan RS. And then this version just gets forgotten. It still looks cool, it gives you that GTA 4 vibe. You might fool a few people to think it's a Sultan RS on the streets of Los Santos. Well, the Stratum's on the list right at the end here. in my outro, there were so many cars like the Stratum, the Futo. But as I've mentioned repeatedly in the past, this is one of my favorites. If you guys know, there's about 40 different variations because you can find this car without the splitter, no sunroof, rails, and a few other modifications. And yeah, independently you can see some missing. Even though it's not modifiable, you find it with these options on the street. So it's a cool collective. It gets you driving around searching for your car. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy this. Put your recommendations down below. See you guys in the next one.